All right, here we go. A late night edition of Dome, Harambedome. Due to circumstances, we're recording late. We're actually recording during a game with fantasy implications happening. Welcome,
Hashtag spooky stream.
spooky stream. Welcome back, co-host. Oh wait, you weren't gone because we didn't miss you. You didn't. You were only
Yeah,
going to be
remember
gone Wednesday.
remember you typed up an entire lie about me, slander, and sent it into the group chat to try to hurt my image for my commission run?
Oh, um,
Pepperidge Farms remembers. So does Harambe.
Pepperidge Farms. That's interesting. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, and I'll say this too. The commission run can't happen. It's a 4-year term, so
Oh, and you
yeah,
decide that?
it was decided back when I got forcibly put into office and gratefully accepted because I won't go against Harambe's will ever. But still,
Well,
4-year
I
term, baby.
smell I smell impeachment.
Hey, you can do that too. We can do it. All right. Um. Anyway, off the impeachment topic, not because I don't want to talk of it, just because we have stuff we gotta do. Um, we have a guest that we almost forgot about. He's not going to be here the whole time, but he came on for a very important reason. Guest, why don't you introduce yourself?
It's the one and only J. Jonah Jameson, JJJ. The name change has been working out pretty well for me so far.
Okay.
But I'm here to talk about playoff implications, what each team needs to get into playoffs. Um, I did want to say though, you were talking about the 4-year term, but I'm glad Jay Dry brought it up. Impeachment is a possibility, Sean.
Very real
Well, we were
Yes,
possibility.
past that topic. Also,
it,
impeachment.
I
There,
wanted
there
to
needs to
I
be
wanted to
grounds for impeachment. You can't just
Oh,
witch hunt someone. You can't just like go
well,
after someone and
there's
impeach them.
grounds,
we could
baby.
find
You
some
can't just.
grants.
Well, also remember, impeach and remove are two different things. So you have to impeach, which is accuse, and then remove. So,
Also, I wanted to talk about it while you guys were still on it, but I wasn't given the introduction, so I couldn't speak.
oh, is this
Yeah,
like you trying to
don't
build more of your case
don't
or
you like how
something?
he does that?
What?
Oh, I see. This is like case. You're building your case right now with these little mini
Yeah, yeah.
examples.
You know what's weird too is you and like half the time Wardle are the only ones that he implements that rule against.
Huh.
He's like, oh,
Interesting.
these two people can't talk. Va, you can't speak until spoken to,
Does
and
he, does he
Wardle
also
only
leave? Does he
only
also
half the
leave
time.
Wardle waiting an hour on Wednesdays when it's time to record Dome?
Can you expand on that? I'm not really familiar with that situation.
Go ahead,
So
expand.
here I was, I talked to Sean beforehand, and he's like, "Hey, Jordan's gonna give me." He gave me some last minute news that he's not going to be able to make it. Some hunting trip that he definitely didn't mention last week. So if you want to be co-hosts for this Wednesday, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'm down. It's the week before playoffs. I can talk about it a little bit. It's gonna be a good dome. And he's like, perfect. Wednesday, 5 o'clock. I was like, great. Wednesday is 5 o'clock. I have the receipts, so I can put them in the chat too if anyone wants to see these. But 5:07, I text him, hey, I'm getting on. Let me know when you're ready. And I hear nothing. At 5:49, I text again. I say, hey, are we doing this? I get nothing.
Wait, I'm
And then
sorry. Did you say that was 5:49 and you
yes,
originally texted him at 5:07?
yes.
Now, if
And
I'm no Einstein, but that's like 42 minutes, right?
yes, yes.
Good
And
job,
that was me.
Einstein.
And I texted him, are we doing this? At 5:49.
Wow.
Yeah. And
That's not
nothing.
even a response. Yeah.
And then 6:07, I get, oh shit, hold on.
This is 6:07, so an entire hour after the original text.
Exactly.
Yep.
Ladies
So
and gentlemen,
I don't know if he does the same thing to Wardle, because I don't know if it's a racial thing.
it's like I said, it's half the time he does it to Wardle.
Never
Oh,
done
okay,
it. Never
okay.
done it to Matt. So. Nope.
Mm.
I guess we're silent now.
Because we know that's not true. You've done it to
It's
Matt.
not true.
You've done worse to Matt.
Nope, never. And I'll say, I did that, and then not even 24 hours later, Saquon Barkley ends up questionable. One of my key cogs to my playoff machine. So
So karma's what you're saying.
Harambe punishes. We'll see. We'll see if he chooses to keep punishing. Hopefully not. But I missed Dome yesterday. I can't say I don't deserve it. Anyway, yeah, all that's true, unfortunately. But you said you only have so much time, right? So I think it's time for you to get to your part,
Sounds good. So I'll talk
right.
a little bit about.
Before you go in, I have
Oh, yeah.
everybody who's a listeners. I have this up. Va actually went in massive depth and put up a couple of great graphics that I have up on the screen. So if you're a listener, turn into a watcher, and you can take a look at what Va put together specifically for Harambedome because of his amazing dedication and his free time having secured a bye week.
Exactly. And also, before I get into this, I want to put a disclaimer. Like, this is what I've gathered. If I say something and you're a team trying to get into playoffs and you think you're going to get in because something I said happens and then it happens a different way, I'm not responsible. This is just what I think is going to happen. It should be pretty accurate, but
Well, no, you
I
put
just
in
want to.
you put in a lot of work, but you're not responsible for Harambe's will.
Yeah, exactly. I just
No,
don't want the people coming after me if
No,
I'm
you're right. You're right. But what you put in writing is what you believe, and what you're saying is true. So we'll hold you accountable. It's okay.
That's fair.
If I make a mistake, I'm sure I will get the proper punishment.
Well, no, we'll just demand that we get put into the playoffs if it's a scenario that you said would have.
And if that doesn't happen, then it's on the commish for not putting you in the playoffs. Correct.
Correct. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
No, you will
That's
take
fine.
zero. You will take
Okay.
zero repercussions for this.
But yeah, all right. So first, we're looking at there's 3 playoff spots open because last week Tuck secured that 3rd playoff spot. So there's 3 open, and there's
Shout
6
out
teams
Screw.
fighting for him right now. I thought JB would have secured it, but there's a very small chance he does not make playoffs. But yeah, at the top of the teams that are still in it, there's Mr. Very Limited. I got tired of writing all the I's in his name, so there's some places where I put all the I's, some places I didn't. But yeah, Mr. Very Limited 7-6, and then you got Living in Babylon 6-7, and then King of the West 6-7, Follow Spike 6-7, Thug and Cousin 6-7, and then Loesch at 5-8. So lots of 6-7 teams, but right now, Mr. Very Limited, Living in Babylon, and King of the West are the 3 that are in right now. And then I just have points 4 at the bottom in order. Loesch, surprisingly, is the highest, and then Thug and Cousins very low, like more than 100 below Follow Spike. So that's going to come into play later.
It makes you wonder how the hell he's still in the hunt.
I know. Also, honestly, Loesch, he has a lot of points against. So you can see, he has so many points for, but he's still 5-8.
Yeah.
He only has one scenario that he can get into playoffs, but we'll get to that.
Tell me when you want the scenarios up.
Okay, you can put the scenarios up right now.
All right.
I'm done with this one. Yeah. I had another a picture with head-to-head records for each team against the other teams, but I don't think it's going to matter too much because every situation to get into playoffs, it's either going to be like a 3-way tie or a 4-way tie. So it's going to come to points 4 in those situations.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to go through this. If I'm being hella confusing or not making any sense, let me know. Because I got really confused making this. It was just going back and forth and everything. But we'll start with JB's team. So he's 7-6. So if he just secures a win this coming week, he automatically makes playoffs because no other team has the possibility of being 8-6. However, if he loses, then he really needs Follow Spike to lose. Because what essentially happens is if JB loses, he's playing Matt, Thug and Cousins down at the bottom. So they both become 7-7. And then Living in Babylon and King of the West are playing each other. So one of them is going to be 7-7 no matter what. And then if Follow Spike loses, that means there's 3 7-7 teams. So Mr. Very Limited because he lost, Thug and Cousins because he won, and then either Living in Babylon or King of the West because one of them won. So those 3 7-7 teams will make it because they'll have the best record. If Follow Spike loses. So if JB loses, he's got to pray for a Follow Spike loss. If JB loses and Follow Spike wins, then there's 4 7-7 teams basically. And so 3 of those have to make it. The head-to-head's kind of, it becomes a 4-way tie, so it comes down to the points for. And if we're looking at points for, it's probably going to be Matt that drops out because he's so low on the points for. But, anything can happen. Maybe he's going to score like 100 more points than Follow Spike, but who knows? But yeah, that's a scenario for JB. 6 and 7 teams get really fucking complicated, but Jordan, you and Wardle are kind of in the same spot right now because you're playing each other. So you guys have to win, and you need Follow Spike to lose. Essentially the same thing. If one of you wins, whether JB wins or loses, you're going to be 7 and 7. So you need Follow Spike to lose. So you're the only 7 and 7 team, basically. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and then or win, and then Mr. Very Limited wins. So same situation. So if Follow Spike wins, you still end up being 7 and 7 with Follow Spike, and you two can make it. If you guys can still lose and make it to the playoffs, but if you lose, then Follow Spike has to lose. So I'm going to break it down. You need JB to win, so that drops Matt down to 6 and 8. So he's out. Or no, sorry, he's not out. He's 6 and 8. You need Follow Spike to lose, so he's 6 and 8. You need King of the West to he would have won if you lost. So he's 7 and 7. You'd be 6 and 8. So it's a 3-way tie for the 6 and 8 teams. And then you'd need the highest points for between the 3 of you. So basically, winner of Living in Babylon advances, loser has to beat the points for Living in Babylon versus King of the West. Did that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, that did make sense in my head. I thought I just fucking word vomited. Okay, Follow Spike I think is a very interesting team to watch this week because before when I was gonna come on and do the whole episode, I was thinking of like matchup of the week and stuff. I don't think it's matchup of the week because like he's playing me and I don't really have too much of a hand in this. But he's an interesting team to watch because his like winning or losing determines so much. Because if he wins, he becomes 7 and 7 and becomes that team that's kind of holding teams back from playoffs. If he loses, then depending on what else happens, he can still make it if he gets that 6-8 3-way tie and gets the points for. But essentially, he needs to win, and he needs JB to win. Because if JB wins, Matt loses, he becomes 6 and 8. And so Follow Spike automatically advances at 7-7. And then the other 7-7 team would be Jordan, you or King of the West. If Follow Spike wins but JB loses, then again there's that 4-way 7-7 tie. So he needs to be at least third in points for. And again, it's looking like Duggan Cousins is going to lose that 4-way tie because he's so far behind. And then the last bullet point under Follow Spike, if he loses, then he needs JB to lose as well and force that, like, hold up. If he loses, he's 6 and 8. So he needs JB to win, so Duggan Cousins is 6 and 8, and then King of the West or Living in Babylon is 6 and 8. So he forces that 3-way 6-8 tie, and he needs higher points than whoever he's tied with. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. Duggan Cousins, he essentially needs to win, and he needs Follow Spike to lose. So if he wins, he's 7 and 7. JB loses, so he's 7 and 7, and then you or Wardle are going to be 7 and 7. So the 3 of them will all make it. If he wins, but Follow Spike also wins, then there's 4 7 and 7 teams. So he needs to be at least third in the points for, and not looking likely, but it's still a situation that could happen. And then if he loses, he can still make it if Follow Spike loses, so he'll be 6 and 8. Duggan Cousins will be 6 and 8 if he loses, and then you or Wardle will be 6 and 8, and he can force that tiebreaker. And again, he's probably not going to win the points for race, but it's a possibility. But yeah, there you go. And then Ascended Loesch was a very super interesting scenario. So there's only one possibility of him making it to playoffs. That's why the playoff percentage is so low. He has to win, so he can't make it if he loses. Obviously, he'd be 5-8. So if he, I keep saying 6 and yeah, okay. If he, oh, I apologize. It says 5-7 there. It should be 5-8.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if he wins, he's going to become 6-8. So he needs Thug and Cousins to lose and be 6-8. He needs Follow Spike to lose and be 6-8. And then one of you, Wardle or Wardle or Jordan, are going to lose, so they'll be 6-8. And so if this situation happens, then he might actually make playoffs because he has the highest points for. So he needs to watch out for Mr. Very Limited and Living in Babylon because they're the closest to his points for. Everyone else is over 100 behind him. You guys aren't too far behind him, so you guys could catch up. So it's very unlikely that all of those things happen. But regarding points for, if it does happen, like Loesch has got a very small chance.
Well, I want to
Damn.
that it's interesting. I'm very interested by it. But can we walk through it just a little bit more real quick, just to talk about the realisticness of it? Okay, because so he has the most points for by JB doesn't count because in his scenario JB has to win, so JB's gonna make it. He's gonna have 8 wins.
You're right.
Doesn't matter his points for. So
Yes.
the next closest he has to worry about realistically, because everyone else is under 100, is
Mhm.
Jordan with
Yeah.
20 something. So preferably Jordan wins in his eyes, and
Yeah.
in his eyes,
Well, oh yeah. So he
right?
automatically.
So think about it, because it's more likely that Jordan outscores Cole by 35 this week than it is Wardle usurps him by over 100. So,
Yeah.
but look at the matchups. So Thug and Cousins losing to JB, I can't say that's unrealistic. Follow Spike losing to you, I can't say that's unrealistic, especially with Josh Jacobs already at 11 in the first half.
Yep.
Loesch beating Tuck, that's the big one, but that's the hill he's gotta hurl
Yeah.
there. But and then Jordan beating Wardle, or vice versa, and then maybe Cole playing a big week. But like, I wouldn't say his scenario is unrealistic. It's not like both the
No, it's not. It's definitely not a long shot that Cole makes it in.
I wouldn't call it a long shot. I really wouldn't at all.
The only reason I'm calling it a long shot is because all those individual situations are very likely, but all of them happening together. That's
True.
what makes it like so
Yes.
unlikely. It's like, let's say there's like a 1 in 2 chance for each of like 1 in 2. Let's say everything's 50-50, right? 1 in 2 chance of Loesch winning, 1 in 2 chance of Thug and Cousins losing, Follow Spike losing, and then whatever. That's like 1 in 2 times 1 in 2 times 1 in 2 times 1 in 2. It's like 1 in fucking like 32 that all of those things happen.
For sure.
That's
No,
why
you're right. You're right.
For sure. I do want to ask this follow up with that scenario though. Because it's obviously all hypothetical and Harambe's will, but Jordan, how would you feel in a scenario where Wardle beat you and you couldn't get to the 30 you need to usurp Loesch's points for, and you ended up in that scenario and Loesch made it?
Well, I wouldn't make it, right?
You wouldn't, because you would basically be in Wardle's spot at that point, where that last spot, Wardle is getting the shoe in with JB, and then there's one spot left, and it's you, it's Loesch, it's Follow Spike, and it's Thuggins, and in the scenario where you can't usurp him by 30 points, Loesch makes it in.
What would my reaction be?
Yes, that's what I'm
I would close my door. I'd tell Dylan, I'd be like, hey, when you hear something that sounds like a gunshot, just call the cops. I don't want you to see me like that.
Okay, so we know
what to watch out for on Sunday.
Yeah, we know that there has to be a hotline called on Sunday if something goes down. But I mean,
No,
that's
I'd be
gonna.
pissed.
Yeah,
You kidding me?
Especially because you know what it'll do too. For any, not even just you. I mean, if it was Wardle in the same situation, you know what it'll do.
Oh yeah, he'll join the pod unannounced and just be like, yeah.
video of him smoking a cigar, talking shit.
Well. All right. Well.
I had a icy hot. I almost said spicy hot again. I had an icy hot take. So the first time I was on, this is when Loesch had just ascended, and my icy hot was he's on a 2-game win streak, but it's all bullshit. He's gonna start losing, and he's not gonna make playoffs. So this is gonna go completely against that, but I'm honestly very like this is. I'm never rooting for Loesch. I know no one is, but it's such an unlikely scenario that I can't help but wonder. Like, it'd be fucking awesome if he, by that like small chance, all the cards aligned and he somehow did make it.
No, I mean if I win and I don't have to worry about getting caught in that clusterfuck of losing points forward to Loesch, it's definitely an interesting little storyline for him to fucking squeak his way in.
Oh yeah,
It would be hilarious.
You know what? I'm not
That'd be
excited
awesome.
for the I've ascended comments afterwards.
I know. That's what. See, and that's what puts a damper on it. Because like, if it were Tuck in his spot, Tuck's a little more humble. Tuck would be like, everyone's pulling for the underdog story, and this.
This is like if I was in the situation.
It's such a good underdog story. You still want it, even though it's low.
Exactly. It's like if I was in the situation, it'd be hard to root for me because I'd be shit talking the next day over text.
Yes, yeah, you're one of those two with Loesch. Yeah, it'd be hard, but it's still.
Yeah,
I would still root for you, Bob.
Thank you, Jordan. Even after all that shit you talked about me 2 weeks ago.
No, not me. Me?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. Don't try to deny it.
I don't know. I think those tapes were doctored.
Oh, okay. I mean, honestly, AI nowadays, anything.
Yeah, deep fake, deep state, the cock.
Yeah, all right, I'm gonna have to get off, unfortunately.
Well, hey, thank you for breaking this down to the max.
Appreciate this. This will be our standing segment right here.
And as Sean said when I was on a phone call with him before, you did way more work than Ted could ever imagine. So
that's
I don't necessarily agree with putting Ted down like that, but you did do a lot of work, right? So I appreciate you.
No, that was
it was fun.
And make sure you send those into the chat too at some point, because I don't know if they'll be able to be that last one. The typing was kind of small when it was like condensed. I tried to blow up the screen and I couldn't really as much as I wanted to. So yeah, send that in for them to look at it too.
Yep.
The scenarios. All right.
I'll send it after you upload it.
All right. Yeah, sounds good. All right, Va. Well, thank you, guest.
Thanks.
Short notice, but that's on me, not you. But thank you for everything, coming in and breaking all that down.
Yep, no problem. Can't wait to hear the rest of the episode.
Yep, and take out follow Spike for me.
Oh yeah, I'll do my best.
Or rest your starters because they need a break.
No, Josh Jacobs is a fucking monster. He does not need a rest.
Agreed.
All right,
neither does Josh. All right, see ya.
See ya. All right.
Yo, honestly. And I'm glad you stopped recording. Fuck that guy.
Oh, wait, when did I say I stopped recording? I'm still recording.
Oh.
Hey, I'll edit that out. Yeah, I'll edit that part out.
Oh,
so
yeah.
So there's no bad blood or anything, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, hey, well, let's keep it rolling. With this epi moving into let's jump right into it. Let's go to our winner of the week. It'll just be the two of us the rest of the way. So,
sounds good.
What are we thinking? You go ahead and go first. Winner of the week. What do you got? Hello? Hello?
Hello.
There you are.
You can hear me now?
I can hear you now.
All right, so I was saying I'll jump start it. I'll kick us off. My winner of the week. You can still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
My winner of the week is the one and only Scrimp Gang, Bums Are Us, putting up
Yeah.
142 points, burying the King of the West, and getting 31 points from his defense, Cleveland D. With this dub, I don't know if I mentioned it. I mentioned it the first time I said it. With this dub, he secured himself that 100% playoff spot, which prompted a nice little text in the group chat. Dude, I mean, Joe Burrow's performing, absolutely performing. Jamal
He is.
Williams, pretty sure he scored another fucking touchdown last week.
Yeah, he
Maybe I'm
did.
wrong.
He's going
Yeah.
nuts.
What's that, 14 on the year, 13 on the
I
year,
think it's
something like
14.
that?
Yeah, I think it's 14 now.
Going crazy. But, I mean, you look at his team, everyone performed decent. He put up 142 points. Eckler did not score over 15, which how often is that going to happen? Not very often. CeeDee Lamb put up a nice 18. Amari Cooper was a little bit underwhelming at 6. Mark Andrews, underwhelming. Zonovan, that was a nice pickup by him. Scored 16 for him. But that Browns defense just annihilated Houston. Just got him 31 points. And Joey Burr is the fucking Kansas City kryptonite. Put up 37 against them boys. So great dub. Wardle got to watch the Chiefs get dunked on, and then his fantasy team get dunked on in the process. So great
Yeah.
dub for bums.
No, that's a great dub. I I have to agree there. That's a good winner. Um he's cuz I'm trying to see. So that really helped you too, actually, with your standings, him beating.
Yeah, I mean, it made the game this week for essentially, well, not really based off the breakdown, but a whole lot higher chance of me winning this current week and securing my playoff spot. Because if
Right.
I would have been playing a 7-7, or sorry, a 7-6, yeah, 7-6 King of the West, then that wouldn't have my chances of making the playoffs would have been a lot lower.
Yeah, no, so Tuck did you a solid there for sure.
Oh,
It's
100%.
yeah,
That's why that's my boy.
that's Tuck. Yeah, no, I think, I mean, good win too. I I can't blame Wardle. He invested in Keenan Allen. I would say that I wouldn't like I was trying to think of Wardle's shoes. I was like, why didn't he put in Christian Watson? Because he went nuts, and that would have been the win, right? If I'm not wrong, Christian Watson would have been the win. 7 point difference, and that's a would have been close. Would have been close. 25, not quite. Maybe not quite the win. Um, oh no, because
Wait, yeah, it would have.
it was exactly 7. So
Yeah, they would have tied.
wait, but Keenan was 17.8, so that would have been. Oh no,
Oh, sorry.
he would have won by point two. Wardle would have point
Do you
two
imagine that?
if he had put in Christian Watson. And I mean, listen, I won't ever have a Packer, so I won't know. But I mean, like, look at Christian Watson, 34 since he came on, 34, 19, 23, 25. I get he's a rookie, and I get it's one of those. Can he actually sustain that, or am I going to put him in and he's going to get one? But I don't know, man. I mean, Keenan Allen hasn't shown really much. I mean, he got 17, so I guess you really can't shit talk that. He's been back, he's got 9, 13, 17. I mean, it's respectable. But the big
Well,
play
and even
was.
even if you don't want to start Keenan Allen, or you don't want to bench Keenan Allen, I mean, look at your flex situation. Is Ramondre someone that, I guess, running back over wide receiver in the flex, but when it comes to like a Ramondre versus the probability that a Christian Watson might give you,
Right.
that decision might change.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we'll see. I mean, let's see what he's got going on. King of the West. Let's see. Oh well, it's the bye week, so it doesn't matter. Um. Yeah. Let's see.
Which is kind of shitty that they got bye weeks the week before fantasy playoffs.
I couldn't agree more with that. Yeah, I think that is shitty, to be honest. It's because there's some key players too on some key teams that are out.
Oh
Like
yeah,
you
I
losing
mean,
Aaron Jones and him. I mean, you're playing each other, but him, he probably would have started Christian Watson or at least put him in the flex, or something. I don't know,
yeah.
but yeah. So I mean, you losing Aaron Jones. I mean, those are tough. Those are tough losses. So, um, yeah. I mean, it's and I'm. I mean, it doesn't matter for me, but someone who has him somewhere in the league is getting screwed because Monty's out with the Bears, right, in the bye week, and
Yeah,
so it's. Yeah, it's weird. I don't like them being so close, but I guess they don't care about fantasy. I guess they're too worried about real life.
which
Which
is their life outside of fantasy?
wait, what's that?
I said, is there life outside of fantasy football?
That's a great question. I heard that if you're really trying to experience life, the key thing to do is go shit in the woods.
I mean, I'm not gonna put down somebody that shits in the woods. Maybe they're just like walking to a tree stand and they really got a shit, and the house is quite a hike away, and the sun's coming up, and you'd be wasting a morning if you walked all the way back to the cabin, you know.
Right, right. So, do you know anyone
So
who's
yeah,
ever shit in the woods?
I'm sure my cousins have.
Can I ask, what do you think someone wipes with when you shit in the woods?
I would assume all around you are like leaves from the trees that have shed their leaves, and they might be a little wet, and it's like a flushable baby wipe.
Okay, how would you so like how would you know if they're wet? What if I mean is there rain or what would make them wet? Wouldn't they just be dry leaves
Well,
crunching
no,
into
because
your
it's.
bum?
I mean, at least the leaves that I was out there with, like walking around when I was on my, according to you, unannounced hunting trip. Those leaves were all wet because it had been raining. It snowed and the snow melted, so those leaves were all wet.
Oh, okay. That
But
makes
yeah,
sense.
if it's not raining or anything, I assume you're just wiping with dry leaves, and then that's like regular toilet paper.
Yeah, no, that's fair. All right. Well, um yeah, anyway, my winner of the week. I'm going to have to say my winner of the week in this week of matchups is there's two that I really want to choose from. But I think I'm gonna have to give winner of the week this week to let's give it to the man who shits in the woods, living in Babylon.
Hey,
Hey, 127, a nice little romp, 40 point almost stomp of follow spike. Um, the other person I wanted to give it to was another one who dominated his opponent, which was Loesch. But I just think Loesch still does have a trek, even though his trek scenario is more likely than it's given credit for. I think that what you did is you put yourself literally back into the playoffs. I mean, you hit the losers bracket, things were down, you were moody all week. It wasn't looking great. Your team
say the
has such.
least.
Your team has what's that?
I said moody to say the least.
Right, and
Yeah.
your team had what really and what I'm sure bothered you, but what I noticed is that your team has like so many points for. You're like literally number 4, I think. You're number 4. And so if you're a top 4 scorer with points for, but you're in the losers bracket, which was last week, I'd imagine you were pretty pissed about that.
Oh, I mean, yeah. How could you not be? But
Yeah.
at the same
So
time, that's the way Harambe draws it up. I'll
yep.
just angrily sit there and accept it.
So he sent you into losers bracket just to pull you right out the next week with a dominant performance. Jalen Hurts went nutty,
He
and
did.
Derrick Henry didn't. Aaron Jones didn't. I wouldn't even say Damon Pierce did.
No, not
I think
really.
you really got nice and carried by the Eagles there. The Eagles D had 11, Devonta Smith had 19, basically 20, and Jalen
Yep.
Hurts had basically 45. The Eagles seemed to carry you that game.
Oh, 100%. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Yeah, so that's a big one there. Here's a question: is Devonta going to remain your wide receiver 2 going forward? Did he earn the trust?
Um, I feel like I think I do have him in my wide receiver 2 right now. But I really just put him there because I was like, all right, I need a dub, and if Devontae Smith scores, that obviously means Jalen Hurts threw him the ball. So I
Right.
was just looking for that stack.
Right.
It's like, oh, I need a dub. If Devontae Smith is gonna get a touchdown, it's gonna be from. So yeah, just kind of tossed him in, hoping to get those double dip on the touchdown.
Yeah, and that it seemed to work. And hey, if Devonta Smith comes on, that's not a bad thing because I
No,
mean
it's not.
you drafted the man, and you drafted him. It'll say right here, drafted 100. So I mean, he was a low pick. I mean, he was like a flyer, I guess, in the 11th round. You're getting to about the flyer zone. You have your starters mostly picked, so definitely a flyer, but still a lot of potential because he was just so boom bust, like a Tyler Lockett almost.
Yeah, he
And
was.
and so I
I
mean,
think
if
he
he
still is. I think he's still in that category.
yeah, I don't think he's come out of it, but I think if he can string together some booms to end the season, because he definitely strung together a few busts in a row.
Yeah.
He was definitely busting, you know.
Hey, Walking Ted, would you like to speak?
No chance.
He's in. He's in the chat.
No way.
Or he's in the Discord voice
Yeah,
channel.
I see him.
Maybe we'll get a little treat. Maybe he'll start talking.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on here. I just see this little guy. All right, I guess we'll see if he starts talking.
But yeah, I definitely hope that Devontae Smith ends up bringing together some nice little booms. That would be very helpful.
Yeah, and on Follow Spike's end of this matchup, just you know, he had been what 4 straight,
Think so.
and or was it 5 straight? 4 or 5 straight. He made a nice comeback, man. I mean, no, I think it got brought up last week that by I think it was Ted that we were talking about. You know, he was at 2-6, and we were talking about him being in the losers bracket. What's going to happen? This and that.
Yeah,
Shot up
will he
months.
do the punishment?
Yeah, months straight of winning. Months straight of winning, and he did a lot with little. He got healthier. His team got healthier. James Conner being the key of that statement. Um,
Yep.
the T.J. Hawkinson trade definitely added some boost for a couple weeks, and Joe Mixon finally breaking through helped him too, and Tua being healthy on top of that, and Najee has continued to do what Najee's done. He had that 1 week that put him over the top against me, but Najee's a flex, man. I mean, look at his numbers. It's a shame because
Oh, 100%.
he was
A
picked
first round
he was
flex,
picked
which
eighth.
sucks.
He was picked. You don't draft a flex eighth, but I mean 10, 12, 13, 9, 6, 13, 11, 9, 11, 27, 11, 11. So he's a flex.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, there's that. But
RB21 on the season.
yeah, exactly. A flex running back. That's what Monty's like 24 or something. So, you throw in Damon Pierce is for you. He's 14. He's a little bit better of a flex. One a higher end flex back. But yeah, so that's what we're looking at there. It was a big game between the two of you because it was going to set one of you up in a much better position. If you had dropped this game, that would have been pretty much sealing the deal for your playoff hopes. You would have had a Loesch type scenario, and
Yeah.
that would have been a tough one. And I don't know if yours would have been as favorable. Your matchup's Wardle this week, so we'll see how that goes. But it definitely is better to have this one. That was big for you. It bolted you back into the playoffs, and now you're sitting at a better chance than not. So, big turnaround there, close to the end.
I agree.
All right. Well, if a certain he's gone.
Yeah, he's out.
All right. Well, let's move on. Loser of the week. Who you got?
See, let me pull this back up. Loser of the week. I honestly might. Yeah, I think I'm going to stick in that same game that I had my winner of the week and give my loser. Because I'm looking at Big Kirko also because he basically did the same thing by taking an L.
Yep.
So just to switch it up, I'll go with my biggest loser, Big Kirko, Thuggin Cousins.
Okay.
Taking an L. What this essentially did was just make his playoff path that much more difficult for himself. You see the situation that JB's in, where pretty much has the best chance of making the playoff.
Right.
Like if he wins, he's in. He controls his own destiny.
Right.
Thuggins, I believe, could have done the same thing because he would have moved himself to 7-6. With a win, he would have been 8-6, and essentially eliminated himself from being tied with anybody other than possibly what's very limited at the end of the season. So yeah, taking this L was not good for him. The big Thuggin Cousins did not come through. A nice 14 points.
No.
Jeff
Yeah.
Wilson Jr. fell asleep, 0.4 points.
Yeah.
Cordero, which I forgot who he got Cordero from. Like I forget. Oh, there was something happened where he got Cordero.
Yeah, I traded him Cordero and I got Monty and D Hop. So
But yeah, he did not great. Stephon Diggs, as far as Stephon Diggs weeks go, 18 points is not his best. Well, I guess over the season, looking at his points now, it's top upper tier for points scored.
right.
Garrett Wilson did okay. Cole Kmet surprisingly did pretty well. And Tyler Lockett got him some good points, but he just got it hurts him when his quarterback doesn't score anything. His running back essentially doesn't score any points. His defense kind of loses him 7 points. Yeah, not good for Kirko. 'Cause now he's in the thick of it, in the mud, the cogs of the machine that just who knows what'll happen in this with these playoff shakeups.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, he had a chance there to really gain some ground, and yeah, didn't happen. Didn't happen. So that's I'll credit that on my end to Amonra getting me 30, because he's back to what he was beginning of the season and end of last season when Tuck had him in fantasy. He's back, baby. So I mean, other than that, I mean, everything's pretty. I mean, you look at the rest of the team. I mean, I wouldn't say I popped off really anywhere else. Saquon had 18, but
Yeah, your biggest point swing came from
from Amonra,
from
for sure.
Munra.
So, yep. All right, and I'll throw in my loser of the week, and I'll swing it over to loser of the week is gonna have to be who you held off on, and it's gonna have to be the King of the West. Because listen, King of the West, Christian Watson. You didn't use him. You kept him on the bench. You abused him, and now you don't get him in a critical game. So, you put him in, you win. But you trusted Keenan Allen, a man you wouldn't trade to me earlier in the season.
Oh, so
When he was
now I
hurt.
understand where this is.
No,
This
no,
is just,
no. That just
hold
slipped
on,
out.
hold on.
No,
There
that
is some
slipped
very
out.
personal stuff about this.
That slipped out. I did not mean for that to come out. That must have been like I was thinking it, and I thought it filtered.
Because it's not even
instead
like
of my head.
Keenan Allen. He would have been in a better situation if he replaced Ramondre. So why do you target Keenan?
Because you want to know why? You want to know why? Because Ramondre Steven is an RB1. He didn't play like one, but he is one. And on typically, what is he? He's running back 11. So I would say that's pretty much an RB1. And even though this game wasn't what you usually get out of him, you don't put an RB1 on the bench for anyone. You replace a wide receiver who's not Tyreek Hill. So I'm going to call him on a move that I definitely would have done the same thing as him, but I'm going to call him on it because it wasn't me. And so, yeah, should have put in Christian Watson, Faux King, and also Devin Singletary sits on your bench. Tried to get him earlier in the season too, wouldn't budge. So, don't know how he's sitting on your bench. But anyway, I didn't mean for that to come off personal, but
No, I mean I understand now why you. Wow.
no, You don't have to start wowing and stuff like that.
No, it's just interesting the way your mind works.
Yeah, just
You are so happy that I didn't pick King of the West that I switched it up so you could just annihilate him. And in your blind rage, you were like, "And you didn't trade me Keenan Allen."
listen, and it hurts. It hurts to lose a week when you have Pacheco go for 21, and then you have Tyreek Hill too.
Yeah,
So go for 27. And that is, I mean, objectively tough. And then Dak, yeah, I mean, whatever. 23 is not anything to get mad at, but it did enough. But yeah,
you should have started bye-week Kyler.
I think that would have helped him actually. I just think
Yeah,
it would
bring
have.
team morale up.
Well, yeah. I was literally gonna say I thought it would boost morale, and I think it would show Kyler that it would prove to Kyler that Wardle believed in Kyler.
Correct, and it would help Kyler play to his full potential.
Right. So, yeah, no, I think he dropped the ball on that one too. That's a good point. All right. Well, let's shift into our next bad boy over here. Let's shift into our matchup of the week. I think Va basically gave one, and so I say we let Va have that, which was the he said, didn't he say that Follow Spike was going to be interesting?
Yes.
Right? But Follow Spike's playing him, so I guess he's interested to see what happens between him and Follow Spike for the sake of Follow Spike. So, we'll leave that with Va. But you got a matchup you're looking at most?
Yeah, so I mean, aside from that, because if I take the dub and Follow Spike loses, that'll get me in there. Another scenario for me is Mr. Very Limited taking a dub, so that's another game I'll be watching. Obviously, I have to win my matchup, so that's the first game I'll be looking at, but I'll be taking peeks at Mr. Very Limited versus Big Kirko Thuggins Cousins, and strictly for the fact that if I win and Mr. Very Limited wins, your boy's in. So, for selfish reasons, that's the other game I'll be checking out.
So, what if his name was Big Kirko Tuggin Cousins?
Who in this situation is tugging Cousins?
Yep. Him. It's him.
Him?
Yeah, him.
Oh,
Well, what if? Wait, hold on. Let's actually dig a little deeper. What if it's Big Kirko?
so, huh.
What if Big Kirko?
So wait, his name would just be talking about Kirk's addiction to masturbation?
Or masturbating his cousins?
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
What if we're talking about him tugging on
Big
his
Kirko
cousins?
is tugging Cousins. Wow.
Yes, he's tugging cousins, and it doesn't even need to be his cousins. What if just a couple of cousins go to him, and he's tugging on multiple cousins?
If that was happening, I would definitely recommend my cousins to go over there and get tugged.
Would you join your cousins for a tugging?
No, because I wouldn't. I'm myself. I'm not a cousin, you know?
Well,
Like, if one of my cousins said, hey, this guy tugs cousins, I'd be like, oh, all right. I'll be there. But if I can't go there I can't go there and be like, hey, I recommended myself get tugged. He'd be like, no, I only tug cousins.
right. Now, what if you had to call him Big Kirko while he was tugging the cousins?
Listen, he's a professional athlete, so I assume he excels at any activity that he performs. So, I mean, if he wants to be called Big Kirko while he's tugging, I mean, shit. You know?
No, trust me, I know.
Big Kirko it is.
No, I've
Zad.
sad. Just a live update since we're potting during the game. It is 13-3. Rams have the ball, 3rd and 13 on LV's 45-yard line.
Oh, yeah, at least on Stream East, we are on a commercial break.
Oh yeah, I'm not. I'm just looking at the ESPN little thing.
Uh,
So yeah, and got some implications. Got Josh Jacobs playing for Va. That's an implication in the follow spike game. Ted's got Akers against me. I've got Carlson against him. Devontae Adams playing. Implications for your game for the you're paying attention. You just said your matchup of the week.
Yep.
With
My matchup, the Raiders defense is playing as well as Foster Moreau.
Yep. So, okay. Oh, and you know what else I noticed looking at the matchup you chose? You see who Mr. Very Limited starting at quarterback?
I didn't actually.
Take a peek.
Once it loads. Oh, Jared Goff, right?
Jared
I think
Goff.
I did check that.
Jared Goff. It's gonna be Goff versus Cousins on a week that they play each other.
Oh shit. That'll be a fun game to check out then.
Yeah, we got a little QB matchup stuff going on. And on that note, I'll throw in my matchup of the week I'm looking forward to. Leaving Follow Spike and Vaz. I'm gonna say it's gotta be. And it's tough because the other two are interesting, but I'm gonna go with Bums R Us and Ascended Loesch. I like we established earlier. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter who it is. It's interesting to see an underdog story play out like that.
Yes.
Even if what we hear from Loesch afterwards is going to be probably insufferable a bit, especially
all
with
odds stacked against them, but there's a chance.
There's a chance, and I don't think it's a bad one. You're literally just asking for him to win. I think that's the toughest thing. Beat Tuck, right?
Yes.
So I think that's the hard part. You got to beat Tuck. I think you beating. I'll be honest. I think either of you could win, you or Wardle. But I think that you beating Wardle, especially since you consistently have more points for, is possible. I think that so that would make because that's the easier shot. But either one of you, losing, one of you has to, and both of you have currently less points than him, points for. And so you're asking for Follow Spike to lose against Va and Kirko to lose against Limited. I don't think that you're asking for the world, So I don't know. It's gonna be Harambe's will, but I just think his odds aren't too terrible. But I'm interested. The biggest hurdle he has, I think, is beating Tuck. So because Tuck's team's on fire. Burrow, Eckler, Williams, CD, Cooper, Mark Andrews, Zonovan Knight. He's got a couple. He's got his substitute stuff in with the defense, and he's just running a stream D, and then his kicker's on by. So,
which not a terrible D to stream. I mean, I know they got walloped by the fucking Eagles last week, but going up against the Jags, who Detroit has gotten better since they fired their secondary coach, but overall I wouldn't say their defense is
good,
great,
no.
and they did pretty decent against the Jags last week. So
yeah. So no, I think, but then on the other end you have interesting choices. So you've got Geno, right? He's been running him. You got McCaffrey, so he's running Latavius. Doesn't look like he had much of another choice. Fournette's in his flex. He's running AJ Brown, right? And then Ayuk, over DJ Moore. His choice.
Ayuk.
I guess, Ayuk is, at this point, we're looking at position rank 19, averaging 11 points, versus DJ Moore, you're looking at position rank 28, averaging 9 points. So, hey, what can you say? I guess but Baker's done there. So, he hit toss up. So, he's making his choice. Cowboys D, awesome. Travis Kelce, awesome. So, it'll be interesting, to say the least. It'll be interesting. But Geno Smith is going to have to lead the way. And we've all shit on him for that. So maybe this would be the ultimate middle finger.
Yeah, could be.
But hey, let's see what goes down. All right. So that said, yeah, we've got some interesting ones though. Really, you and Wardle's going to be interesting. Foster Moreau.
All across the board because of how close everything is. Every game pretty much, except for your game, has an implication.
Yeah, literally. So there's, everyone's, this is what always happens. It somehow always happens. Maybe statistically it's gonna be that way. Maybe you can't have a ton of parity by this point. There has to be some close records, but it just always comes down to this shit, man. where it's just this pile of
Yeah, where it's
teams with
the
all the same record.
clusterfuck
Yeah,
at
the
the end.
cluster at the very end, where I guess it's not unfair to say that Va's the new Ted.
Yeah, I mean, I understand Ted not caring too much about it this time around, but Va did a great job laying it all out.
Va had
Graphic.
pictures. Yeah, graphics.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go too much into all you talked about Ted on our phone call prior to this, but
all I talked about him. Okay.
I'll keep that between hosts.
Okay. All right. Yeah. No, go ahead. Share. What I say. What did I say?
What's the next segment?
Oh, yeah, that's what I thought. All right. The next segment is the segment we can just tackle it together. The offers report. So last episode we did was a Wednesday, right? We actually finally did it on a Wednesday.
I believe so.
That would leave Thursday, where I added Brandon Cooks on December 1st for starting fresh with December. Merry Christmas season, everybody. Added Brandon Cooks. Okay, December 4th. Oh, and I added him for $0. And then on Sunday, right before games, DeAndre Carter was added by Va, and I believe not played. Monday.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think he was a backup. Monday, because before the Monday night game, you actually had movement on the Monday. You had Mark Ingram not get picked up by Fall Spike, because Fall Spike added Jarvis Landry instead, and then Adam Troutman was added by Thomas the Spank Engine to try and get someone in that tight end slot to do something. Okay.
And then come Wednesday, Living in Babylon added James Cook for $8, dropping Kyron Williams, the Rams running back, to the waivers. Mr. Limited adding Jared Goff for $6 to start. He dropped Benny Snell Jr. And it looks like Bite Kneecaps placed a $0 bid on Jared Goff for the week also.
Yep.
Possible collusion to stop JB from getting him, maybe. King of the West added the Raiders defense for $5, dropping the Packers defense because they're on a bye. Thomas the Spank Engine added DPJ, Donovan Peoples-Jones, and dropped Adam Troutman, who he had just added on the Monday prior. Mike Wright, the Pittsburgh kicker, was added for $0. But
Mike Wright?
Matthew Wright.
Oh, okay.
I'm a little far away from my screen. Added for $0 by Bums R Us. Bite Kneecaps added Cade Otton, Tampa Bay tight end, for $0. And Mr. Very, very, very limited added Greg Dulcich, the Denver tight end, dropping Jerry Jeudy to the waivers.
Jerry Jeudy.
And today, Thursday, for $4, JJJ picked up Jerry Jeudy, dropping Chase Claypool. Guys, we can rejoice. Donathan has been added to a roster. Big Kirk O'Thuggins picks up Brett Maher, the Dallas kicker.
Love you, Donnie.
Donnie, congrats. The Spank Engine added J.K. Dobbins upon the news that he is returning to play, dropping James Robinson, who got traded to the Jets, hasn't been used. Why? I don't know. Bums R Us added the Cardinals defense and dropped Zay Jones to the waivers. Biting Kneecaps added Hayden Hurst for $0. The Lions D was added by Biting Kneecaps for $0, dropping the Chiefs. Tyler Huntley, the Baltimore quarterback, replacing an injured Lamar, he was added for $0. And an attempt at Mike White was put in by $0 by Bite Kneecaps for $0.
Yeah.
But it was unsuccessful because Tyler Huntley was already added.
Filling out the last little backup parts of my roster.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Perfect. So, great way to end that off, and just you go straight into it, straight into your favorite segment in the whole thing. Knock it out. The free agent budget summary.
Yeah, this is. I honestly love this part. I'm telling you, man. This makes this show. With the most money in the league, $73, Mr. Brennan Lasher, aka Follow Spike. Behind him at $52 is Cole Popovi, Ascended Loesch. I skipped over Varun Patel, who has $57. J. Jonah Jameson. 57, 52. I think that leaves me at $43. Living in Babylon. I got $43, like I said. Sitting at $37 is James Wardle, the King of the West, Fake King. Sitting at $30 is James McClendon, Mr. Very, Very, Very Limited. That was $30 for him. I skipped over again another person at $32, Matt Ganthier, Big Kirko Thuggin Cousins. You'd think this was the first time I did this.
Do it every time.
$26.
Why do you always skip over Matt?
Because my computer's charging, I'm sitting so far away. There's also some vitamins coursing through my veins.
That's the reason you skip him every time?
I don't think I skip him every time.
Oh, okay.
Big Kirko Thuggins Cousins, my boy, someone I deeply care about, Matt Ganthier, $32. $26, Ted Siemens, the Spank engine. He'd be spanking that engine. $11, we got the Bums. The Bums Express, Bums Are Us, Tucker Nugent, $11. And as it has been for a while,
yep,
the brokest of them all, Sean Hayward, who will bite kneecaps, $5, who will not be bringing a whole lot of money into next season. So think about that.
Yeah, the money doesn't roll over, though, so none of you are. Not even the $73 Spike has.
What?
Yeah, didn't you know that? Yeah, the money doesn't carry over.
Hey, did you secure that Shaq sponsorship this week?
I did, but he said that our takes, considering it's just the two of us, had to be incredibly icy and hot, especially because we've done so many of them so far this year.
Are you sure he didn't say, hey, you guys have given an icy hot take every week? Just say that it's sponsored. You don't have to give a take.
No, I don't recall that, actually.
Oh, all right. So what's your icy hot take presented by Shaquille O'Neal then?
Okay. All right. Here's my icy hot take. All right. So here's the icy. The icy is the scenario that, and Val laid it out. We see these scenarios. Brennan has to win, and Mr. Very Limited has to win. That's it. So I'm going to go ahead and say follow Spike on Va's little bye week. He upsets Va. Okay, so we're getting a little icy. We're getting a little hotter, but still the ice is melting, but it's still there. Okay, he upsets Va. Mr. Unlimited wins. I don't think that's necessarily Mr. Very. Mr. Very Limited wins. Okay, he gets in. So he's in the playoffs. Still icy. Here comes the hot. First hot. He spends all 73 of his dollars on one player. Second hot. That player leads him all the way to round 2. Minimum. That single player.
It's him all the way to round 2.
I know, because then I might play him, and I don't want to say that he makes it all the way to the end just quite yet.
That is the iciest of the hots. That's good.
Thanks. So
I'll tell you that. So, for my icy hot, the icy is I'll win, Thuggins Cousins will lose, and Follow Spike will lose. And then it gets a little hot because bums will get upset by Ascended Loesch, and Ascended Loesch will have more points than Follow Spike, Thuggins, and King of the West, putting him into the playoffs. But, I mean, then it gets icy again because he gets eliminated first round.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. All right.
So the off chance of Loesch getting in happens, and then he just gets butt fucked in the first round.
Okay, I like it. I like it. All right. Well, I'll say this. I heard we lost our Snickers sponsorship right before playoff time.
Really?
Yeah, so that Watson segment, can't do it without the Snickers.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. I know. I've been all season, and then Snickers just pulled out. The Snicker pulled out.
That's disgusting. Especially because, I mean, so much happened.
Yeah, no, I know. It's basically there was like Snickers as a company got offended by Ted last time, talking about how many like sponsorships there were, the roasting that was going on between like the 7 sponsorships, and just basically felt like they needed priority over Shaq. I said that'd never happen, and
Yeah, no. I don't know what they
so
think this is.
yeah, but it's all for the better because you know what? Fuck Watson. It's all about Harambe.
Yeah. And I mean, for the Rams right now, it's all about Baker because it's Baker time in LA.
He didn't get signed,
Baker?
did he?
He's playing right now.
Oh shit! Baker Mayfield pass complete short right to Brandon. Wow.
Yeah, which I'm shocked that he's in the game because he got there Tuesday. How much of the playbook does he know?
Can't be much. Yeah, so he's just. What do the Rams care? It's over. It's over. All they're doing now is getting the Lions a better pick, which I love them for.
Yeah, and letting the Raiders defense score points as they refuse to protect Baker.
Yep. All right, well, last live update, 4th and 19. Well, actually, let's see if it's actually. Let me refresh, see if it's actually live. Okay. Yeah, 4th and 19. Ball on the Rams, 20. They're about to punt it back to Vegas, where hopefully Carlson can get me another field goal. And, yeah, that's pretty much where we're at. But Va kind of handled the standings segment, and we lost the Watson segment. So that's a wrap.
Hey, I
Anything?
mean,
Any last
appreciate
words
Bach.
for? Very much appreciation to Va. Shout out Va. I guess should we shout out Ted for popping in and not saying anything?
Yeah, we'll give Ted a shout out. Shout out Ted,
Okay.
showing
Yeah,
his
shout out
little
Ted.
man spider in the chat.
Yeah. And shout out Scrim. All right.
Yes, obviously.
So
Yeah, I don't really have any closing remarks. Fuck the king.
of course the Folk King.
Yeah, can't think of much else.
Yeah, just hey, best of luck against the Folk King.
Hey, appreciate that. And I know you're playing Ted and probably gonna end up beating him pretty bad, but you might just want to shoot him a little apology for the things you were saying.
Yeah, you might want to too. So, because you were saying some pretty nasty things as well. Actually, the only reason I said anything I said was because I was trying to make it sound less bad compared to the stuff you were saying first.
Oh, just
So,
match my energy.
yeah, well, I mean, even just calm your energy down a little bit, you know.
Yeah, no, I
So,
understand.
yeah.
I get like that sometimes.
Well, all right. That said, that's gonna be a wrap.